Hello? Hello? Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Curiosity Cove. My name's Veda. Shapeshifters in Runeterra. Like League of Legends, like the famous game League of Legends. Yeah. Oh, hold on.
The coolest power. Is that just me?
Can
No,
can
that's pretty. That's pretty cool.
do we have audio?
Bro, we lost audio.
Do we have audio? Yeah,
Oh, we
okay,
have
we're
audio. We have audio.
back. I must have had a Streamlabs update that I didn't realize.
Probably.
Yeah.
Mine updated earlier when I came back from
Oh, for
TwitchCon.
sure. Yeah, I just dude, the one time I don't fucking ever since the first time that happened, I always check to make sure that the audio devices. But you guys, we were simping over an NPC from a D&D campaign, so I forgot to
Yeah.
check. That's on me. That's
That's
100%.
on.
That's
Yeah,
on
we were
me.
distracted.
Yeah, we were heavily
Just so happened
distracted.
that me and Veda both simped over the same character.
Yeah, well, he was perfect. So.
But what I asked Chalky while Veda was doing little tech fixies was that not only in like the League universe, but I think shapeshifting as like a power in its own, whether you're born with it or like it happens, I think that's gotta be the coolest power out there. Like
Yeah.
whenever someone was like, "Hey, so and so, what do you think like would be your favorite superpower? Like if you could have any superpower, what would it be?" Mine was always answer of shapeshifting or wings
Oh,
personally. But that
wings.
also could be
Wings are good.
shape-shifting.
Yeah,
Because like
shapeshift
if you
into
could
a
just
Yeah,
have
bird.
wings. Yeah, so
that's
I was like,
true.
it would always just be shape-shifting because you
Yeah.
could just like do whatever the fuck you want. Any person, any animal, any mythical being, like that's a win to me.
Well, and it's like when I think about all the other cool things like invisibility, I'll just shapeshift into like I don't know, a fucking ant or
Yeah,
like
or like
there's
a different person as I'm walking through a crowd, you
yeah,
know?
there's like
That's a
so
different
many
kind of
ways
invisibility.
around other powers in shapeshifting that like it's just OP, man.
Yeah, it really is.
Fun fact, I played a shapeshifter in that D&D campaign that we were simping over an NPC from. I was a
Mm,
kitsune.
true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Well, how
and
are
I
you
was part
guys?
tree.
Yeah, you were pretty well.
Well,
You
I
definitely
was born
believed in
from
the
that.
trees.
I was the Lorax,
Yeah,
actually.
just spoke for the trees for sure. Dude, what was your stag's name?
um,
Do you remember?
hold on. Let me look through the notes from it and I'll get back to you.
Okay. In the meantime, Chucky, how are you? I know
I'm doing
I
well.
know we just talked about your stressful week, but like other than that.
I like obviously or honestly, I'm doing okay. I'm doing pretty well.
Good.
Just been like working a lot and yeah, but I'm really excited to hear what Cap has to say about TwitchCon. I'm really excited to hear how that
Oh my
went.
god, I
Oh
know, yeah.
yeah?
Getting all
I'm,
the dirty deets from TwitchCon.
Bro, I
I meant
got
to ask.
you. I
Yeah.
was actually talking about it on stream a bit today. But I just had like the greatest time. Like I could not have expected TwitchCon to go any better. Like I had such an amazing time meeting my online friends and then like a bunch of, I guess I don't like calling them like just famous people, but like other big streamers just because it was just so much fun to like meet them in person and not see them behind a camera, if that makes sense. Like
Mhm.
not to cross that parasocial boundary, but like they were just such wholesome people in person. And I know they have to deal with like a ton of fans all the time, but like they just felt so personable and on like a connection level kind of thing. Cause I met Swagger Souls and It's Fits. I met Pezzy, Grizzy, Big Puffer, Elastic Droid. I met Iron Mouse too, so that was fucking huge.
Wait, that's awesome.
I did. That was insane. Some guy walking around Con was wearing a Mandalorian outfit, and we walked up to him. Actually, Mr. Flame like tapped him on his shoulder, And I was like, "Hey, I think your cosplay's like really fucking sick. Can we take a picture?" And he had the voice changer and everything. He's like, "Yes, of course." And he like posed, and I was like, "Dude, this guy's fucking sick. Like, what the fuck?" And for those of you who don't know, I dressed up as my VTuber, so I had the whole pirate get up and everything. So I got a bunch of compliments from people around the con. Everybody that I came in contact with, though some other people could say um something else, unfortunately, because they didn't have that great of an experience. But anybody that randomly walked up to me, complimented me, or like just had like a question to ask about the con, like they were all so sweet. I never had a negative interaction the entire like 2 days I was actually at the convention center, which was
Mm,
amazing. And Artist
That's
Alley
awesome.
was stunning. Like the amount of artwork that was out there, it was like the entire second floor was
dude.
insane. And there's just so many people just walking around. Like you could have just randomly bumped into someone famous. Like we were just walking up with Jemmy's group and everything, and we're walking right next to Amaranth.
What?
The Amaranth.
What?
On God.
No, Amaranth. Ah.
Yeah, we're
What?
walking by and then she like turned around and everyone was like, "Holy fuck, that's Amaranth." And I had no idea. I've only seen her like maybe once or twice. And I everyone was like, "Oh my god, no way." And it was just crazy. And so we could just literally walk past anybody. The food was kind of mid, I won't lie, so I'll kind of
I
bag
mean,
on Twitch for
convention
that.
food.
Yeah. Um we went to the beach 2 days. We got food with a bunch of different people, was hanging out. We had family day on Sunday, so me and the group that I went with and Natasha Keep It Real's group, we were hanging out at the beach, and then we got some food and played some drinking games at home, and we kind of stalled like really late. Like we went to bed at like 2, 3 a.m. because we didn't want to say goodbye, and it was the cutest thing
Oh.
ever. And I was actually surprised. I was telling people that I didn't cry when we said goodbye. I kind of just like felt bittersweet about it because like I knew I would see everybody online again, and I've already like
Mm-hmm.
talked to most people that already were. But it was just like living at the Airbnb and like having people visit and stuff it just felt normal. Like it felt amazing just to be like, "Oh yeah, my friends are coming over later." It just felt like we lived in the area the entire time and like
Mm-hmm.
this was just natural. It was so sick. It was so surreal. It was insane. I don't think it quite hit me yet. I think that's what like this delay of feeling is probably. But I also have to give like huge props to a bunch of different people who respected my decision to be faceless. I don't know if anybody saw any pictures or anything, but they all posted it with
Mhm.
like something covering my face or like anybody else who also chose to remain faceless.
Mm-hmm.
So I just everybody's respect and like love for that just it made me so happy. I almost cried. I was like, this is
Mm-hmm.
amazing. Like everyone respected my boundaries, asked if they were doing a video, could I step back before they started doing something? Or if they were okay to just blur my face real quick. And I was like, dude, what amazing homies I have to like enjoy these days with. It was insane.
Mm-hmm. That's so
I
good
wish you could have been there,
too.
Veda. I
I
was oh my
dude.
god.
I literally the entire time that you were gone and then Lexi was at Lost Lands, I was like, fuck man, like this was supposed to be our week where we all got to do like this crazy great fun thing. And you know
Yeah.
the super like fucked up part of it is that the the reason that I couldn't take off of work ended up
Mhm.
not being a thing.
What?
Yeah, but it is kind of like a blessing in disguise though, because I would not have been able to have fun at TwitchCon because of everything that
That's
I
what
had
me
going
and Waxy
on.
were saying.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
100% if I had been there, I would have just been an anxious mess wanting to be home. So it was
Mhm.
like the universe did me a solid in a roundabout way.
Yeah.
But I'll be at the next one. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our group is already like talking in the group chat and stuff about like next trip when. And so we're all like hyping
Mm-hmm.
it up. Oh, and
Yeah.
then if you guys know Foxy and anything, she's a part of our group and she and a bunch of different people were actually very anxious about like meeting people and like the social anxiety and stuff. But it was so amazing seeing like those people come out of their shells and
Mm-hmm.
like be themselves around the group as we got more and more comfortable with each other. It was just so funny, like, teasing each other and, like, getting the laughs, like, in person, and it was just so
Mm-hmm.
freaking funny, and I love it so much. There's actually one moment when someone was teasing, Nat, which is Foxy's duo, and apparently Foxy slugged the shit out of him.
Oh,
Just
wait,
right in the side
wait,
instantly.
that is
"Don't touch
so
my
funny.
duo," and it was amazing.
Holy shit.
I wish I could have been there. It was so funny. But there's just a bunch of like different things that happened at TwitchCon. Like not just like the days obviously that we went, but like the TwitchCon trip that it was just amazing. I literally have no negative thing to say about it. It was absolutely amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I'm
Good.
so
I'm
glad
glad
to
you guys
hear.
had fun.
Yeah, it was so much fun. I can't wait for next year or like just another trip in general. Like I can't wait to go.
Yeah, it would be fun to just do like a general trip where it's like not based around Twitch Con and trying
Oh,
to meet
bro,
up with like a billion different people and whatnot.
we were thinking about going to Disney World next
Okay,
or
I
Universal.
can't afford that, but I would love to be able to go
Well,
and
yeah, but
afford
like
that.
if you just come to hang out at the Airbnb, bro, we'd be chilling. We'd be
Mm-hmm.
having so much fun. Like even if when we went to the con for like those days and we came back to the Airbnb, hanging out at the Airbnb was like the memories I remember most, other than like obviously just
Mm-hmm.
like seeing people at TwitchCon. But like just hanging out with the group was just the biggest vibe ever.
Yeah, I could see Universal being fun. It would depend because if it was like a thing of Universal's like an all day thing. So
Oh yeah.
if it was like everybody's going to be at Universal every day, I would probably respectfully pass just because I'm not
Oh
going to
no,
sit in an
100%.
Airbnb alone.
Yeah.
But like
Mm.
it would, yeah, I think it would be fun to do like a winter like log cabin trip too.
Oh, that'd be sick
We should
too.
all go see the Northern Lights together. Just saying.
Yeah, we also said we might just go pull up to Canada, so
Yeah.
Oh my
Okay. Fair.
God. Oh my God, guys,
Canada. Canadian
squad meetup in Canada.
squad. We do a league podcast live from Canada
Oh
League
my
podcast live in our log cabin in the
in
snow?
the snow in
No
Guys,
way.
Canada.
I literally have a log cabin, just like Airbnb, my house, league
Bro, we're
podcast
pulling up.
IRL.
Yeah,
We already
literally.
planned it. You heard it
Yeah.
here, chat. We're
Or
pulling
yeah.
up.
You guys were here. This is the day we
That's
make it real.
crazy.
Um
Oh, I figured out my stag's name from the D&D
Oh
stuff,
yeah, what
by the
was
way.
it?
Visrin.
Visrin, that's what it was. Yeah.
Bro, I love it. I just can't. I'm actually, while we were also talking, I was reading through some of like the recaps.
I did that the other
For those of
day.
you who don't know, I kept notes for each day we did it because we did it weekly, so I didn't want anybody to forget what happened. And I was reading back and I was like, God, this campaign was so fucking
It was
fire,
so
bro.
good. I was just telling
Dude,
Grubs,
I need it
it
so
was such a
bad.
great campaign. I miss it so much.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm kind of sad season 2 might not happen, but like I get it,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Understandable. Oh, all right. Well, now that we've caught up, anybody have any fun words for the day?
I do.
You do?
I do
You
actually.
do?
Yeah, I
Okay,
heard
I
it
have one
earlier
too.
today and it pissed me off. So, do you know the word fiduciary?
Yeah.
I have no idea what that word means, and I think it's spelled stupid. It's spelled FIDUCIARY.
Yeah.
What in there would say the word douche?
It's like the
Fiduciary. Why isn't it fiduciary?
because like
Or
the
fiduce, not sh. Like, bro, I've got beef. I think it's a stupid word. It
so
bothers me.
so do you think judiciary is a stupid word too then?
No, I like the word judiciary. I think it sounds
Okay.
cool.
I think I now don't understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, because I know what judiciary
Like
means.
beneficiary.
I like that one too. I know what that one means.
Cap.
Fiduciary? What?
What do you
mean?
How are you gonna sit here and say it's spelled stupid, but then like two words that are spelled similar?
But it doesn't sound the same.
What do you-
Beneficiary, it's
What?
fish. It says fish.
What?
Judiciary, shish. beneficiary, fiduciary. Bro, I think
Yeah,
it's
but
the
that's
word that
because
says
of the.
douche in it.
It's because of the U. Then really
Then I have beef.
with
No,
the
because judiciary. Well, it's Jude would be the beginning part. I still have beef. I think it sounds stupid, and I actually still don't know what it means.
Well, it means like a trust, um, like it's involving like a trust between like a trustee and a beneficiary. It's
Okay,
like
then why not just say that?
they do. It's called fiduciary.
No, I can't have it be, bro. I can't. I
But
can't
yeah.
allow it. I would rather just say the long words of a relationship between a trustee and a beneficiary than a fiduciary. You will never hear those words besides right now in this podcast. Don't catch me slacking. Say that word. I can't. I don't like the word. I don't like how it's spelled
So funny.
or how it says douche in it. I can't.
It's good. I like it. I like
Cap
the
word fire.
beef.
Yeah, it's less of an interesting word of the day, more of a word I have beef with day.
Yeah, yeah.
Pretty much.
Well, no, those are always
That was
so,
actually the first episode too.
yeah,
I had beef
Cap
with the word.
Cap words are typically words that Cap does not like.
Yeah.
Mm.
That just don't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Fiduciary.
Well, I do
don't remember the
have
first one. I'd have to go back.
I'm gonna start accepting the name Fiduciary.
A fiduciary? I won't be saying it. I'll call you Vadu. That's it.
Yeah.
I cannot allow it.
People are getting really creative with the way that they spell Vadu. I got a VEDU the other day.
Vedu.
Oh.
Vadu. Yeah.
Damn, they're out here. That's crazy.
Yeah.
What's your word with Vadu
Yeah,
then?
my
What
word
you
with
got?
Vadu today is undulant.
An undulant? Not an ungulate?
Yeah, like UNDULANT. Undulant.
Does it mean to be under something?
No, not really. It's like so what it means is it's like to have like like a wavy form or surface. So like there's an undulance to the sea, you know? Like this there's you would say it's an undulant sea, it's an undulant landscape, it's like an undulant formation. So it means like it's like wavy or kind of like rising and falling in a waving motion.
Mhm.
You'll hear it later in my lore.
In my lore.
Yeah, you'll hear it later. I was in the lore that I'm talking about, not my lore specifically. I wish I had lore like Elise. It's so cool.
I'm excited. I'm excited to hear about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too. Which brings me to my next point, which is who wants to go first?
I mean, I'm down.
Coin.
I've got Shyvana, and I think her stuff is like interesting. And to be honest, like I didn't know a whole lot about Shyvana, and that's kind of on me because she was also my first champ I ever picked up. But I knew nothing about her. Apparently, she was a lover with Jarvan, J4.
Oh,
So that was interesting. But I'm down to go first if y'all will let me.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, I got you. I got a little story. But for pretext, there was like a little explanation of like what Shyvana looks like, just because like how she came to be is kind of weird because she's a shapeshifter. She has like the human form, but she was literally born from a literal dragon. So like her having a human form was a little questionable to me. I'm like, dude, how did you come from an egg but like still have the human form but can shapeshift, and you figured that out on your own as like the first shapeshifter kind of thing. But Shyvana basically looks like a woman with pale blue skin, black hair tied into a ponytail with 2 strands braided over each of her shoulders, and she has blue eyes with slits for pupils like a dragon's eye, and they glow fiery red when she's about to enrage, which is in the game. There is a rage bar for her when she's able to shapeshift into her dragon form.
Oh.
And she wears red and gold plated armor, which covers her head, arms, and legs. and she turns into what's quote unquote a medium-sized red and gray dragon, which is like the OG skin for
Mm-hmm.
League. I haven't used that skin like regular because once you have a skin, you never go back. In a long time. So I always have the frostbite one where she's like a giant blue dragon, because I always picture her coming from what's it called? The Freljord. She's not,
Mm.
but like that's where I always picture her from, so I feel like that one's more League lore accurate.
Mm.
Fair.
But for her lovely story, it begins with, though they're rare creatures, now indeed, there exists a handful of places across Runeterra where the great elemental dragons still exist. Long after the fall of Shurima, in the chambers beneath the lost volcano, the elder beast known as Eva, or YVVA, I don't know how else you would say that, but I'm just gonna go for Eva, guarded a clutch of eggs. Beyond the depredations of rival drakes, dragon eggs were priceless, almost beyond a mortal's comprehension. And so many daring and yet foolish thieves would try to push their luck and steal from the mighty nest. Eva feasted upon their charred remains of a score or more of thieves that would just constantly come in waves and raid her nest, though none exceeded their attempt to stealing an egg until this one time. An
Mm.
upstart mage fled the mountains with a large egg hugged close to his chest. The jungle at its heels, set ablaze by Eva's fury, because she actually didn't notice this thief take the egg, which was very interesting because I feel like the thieves would always only go for the clutch of eggs, so why would you just not be there the whole time? But like I get it. So she lost her shit, went crazy, and against all odds, he reached the coast and left the dragon to go back to the lair in defeat and not know where the egg had gone. And she grew so angry that she decided that she wouldn't ever leave that spot until all the like eggs hatched and like were safe, because then they're like once they hatch, the dragon eggs themselves become useless. Um and the mage traveled north to Piltover, but before he could find a buyer, the egg actually hatched on the boat. Whether it was an act of removing it from the nest or because it was the last moon of autumn giving way to winter, something had changed. But there was no baby dragon inside. It was actually a humanoid baby girl with pale violet skin, and the mage found he could not bear to abandon her, so he raised the child as his own, naming her Shivana after the dark legend of her broodmother, which I thought was kind of messed up because you just got this baby and now you name it after a really dark legend concerning Eva, which is her mom. But whatever, you do you, boo. And it became clear that Shyvana was no mortal. From an early age, she was able to shift back and forth between her dragon-esque shape, because it still didn't look 100% like Eva. It was, I don't even know how to explain it, but like it had a slight different form than like a traditional elemental dragon. So they did a lot of studying on her, not in like experimental way, but just enough that they could like have it down in like the books for like legends and like fables and stuff. And so this made it a bit difficult for her to live amongst the common folk of Valoran. But one thing was clear, that Eva retained some connection with her long lost daughter, and it grew stronger over time. When her other offspring finally took flight and she didn't have to worry about them anymore, Eva left her nest and soared over the oceans in search of Shyvana. And the land was destroyed with just fire and just she just destroyed everything in her wake. Armies and villagers were put together to try and figure out a way to stop the great dragon, but unfortunately, there's not really anything that they could really do because of the great fire of a dragon, an elemental dragon at that, not just like a regular one. Was too much. So they kind of started hiding whenever the dragon would fly over. They would seek refuge in ruined farmhouses and stuff like that. And Shyvana actually happened to be in one of the farmhouses when Eva went over. And she, from her hiding place, she saw her adopted father, the young mage, um, burn to flames, burn to ash, as
Oh,
Eva just swept over and just incinerated the entire plot. So, needless to say, Shyvana was pissed. She tried to save him. She like ran over, grabbed what was left of him if she could, and he died in her arms. And she ended up burying him in the ashes of the forest beneath an oak tree and set off to actually go find Eva. So, after many weeks of hiding and always being on the move and trying to find Eva, she was like, okay, I gotta find something here to give me a trace of where the dragon went, because it's not like that easy to find one, especially when they're not flying
Mhm.
overhead and like not obviously given away. She found a wounded warrior close to death and found that this was someone she could possibly save. Um, Without a thought of Eva being something that she was hunting, she assumed her half dragon form and carried the unconscious man far away to an outpost in Demacia. There, at the castle of Renwall, Shyvana discovered that this warrior had none other been Prince Jarvan, the king's only son, heir to the throne. Though the station soldiers regarded her violet skin and strange matters with some suspicion and like was like, "Whoa, this chick is not from here. That's kind of weird." She was actually welcomed, and the Demacians always looked out for each other there, so they kind of like took her in as one of their own. So thankfully, not only did she like unfortunately have her home burnt to a crisp, she found a home in Demacia, and unfortunately, Eva felt the connection still between them, so she pulled up to Demacia as well. The recovering prince, knowing that he had to marshal Renwall's garrison, brought the terrified locals inside the stronghold to try and protect them, because he knew that the dragon was coming as well, because Shyvana told him and all the uh, soldiers, I suppose, in the area that they need to like protect the people, just get ready because Eva has destroyed countless others and she didn't want to see it happen to this wonderful city that she just met.
Mhm.
Um and so Shyvana was actually prepared to leave. She thought that if she stayed, Eva would surely just burn this place to a ground, no matter if she was in it or not. So she was secretly going to sneak out like the back door, essentially, of the castle and be like, okay, I got to save these people. But Jarvan caught her in the act and was like, yo, like, what's going on? Like, why are you leaving? Like, we could use you. And she admitted that the creature, aka Eva, was actually her mom,
Mhm.
and she just didn't want to allow these innocent people die for something that would be her fault, essentially. So
Right.
J4 was like, "No, babe, you can't. Like that's kind of crazy. And I like love you because you saved my life and this is just kind of crazy. We have something here." And so Shyvana was like, "Damn, he's right." So she stayed. And Eva came into view, and the Demacian archers shot a whole bunch of arrows at her to try and keep her distracted. But unfortunately, she just unleashed her fury, and all the battlements just were up in flames. And she would tear at the castle with her talons and just rip it apart, essentially. And then Shyvana leapt forth, transforming midair into her dragon form, and challenged her broodmother, and it became one of the like biggest known stories of Demacia that they had two warring dragons just going at it tooth and nail, like on the wall of the castle and also like above the sky, so like even the villagers were keeping like a close eye on it to see like where this giant battle was going to go. um but after a long while, Shyvana grappled Eva to the ground and broke the creature's neck upon the flagstones. So she actually ended up killing her mom. The prince himself honored Shyvana's bravery and promised that she would always have a place at his side. And if she would return with him to his father's halls, that she would be honored with like the highest titles and always have a place there and like have a place of nobility as well.
Right.
Because she also did save the prince, so that's kind of really big. So with Eva's skull as proof of her triumph, they set out for the great city of Demacia together. Shyvana learned that the king Jarvan III realm was somewhat divided. People had a lot of distrust for mages and like magic in general, which we've heard from previous stories where um Runeterra was used to be like full of magic, whether that be like natural forming or like people that had magic abilities. Apparently later down the line, everybody just hated magic, and that's what we can kind of see if you guys have seen what's it called? The show? I'm blanking. What's the show's name
Arcane?
again?
Arcane.
Arcane, yeah. They show that a
Mm.
lot too with like the scientific stuff having now magic
With
with it. They're like,
Heimer.
whoa, like no, that's kind of bad.
Mm-hmm.
Especially Heimerdinger, he has a lot of beef with it. So this was kind of the same thing. So she found it a little uneasy with herself because being a natural born magic user, because she is a shapeshifter with elemental powers because of her dragon, she had to keep it hidden at times unless obviously they're at war, because she actually took part in a lot of wars with J4 and like tried to fight off like the evildoers and things like that. But if people found out that she was the great Shyvana, obviously by her looks, or if they just noticed her using magic, she would
Mm-hmm.
kind of be turned away and like shunned essentially. And also it didn't help that she was a woman, so like a lot of people didn't really like that as well.
Right.
But with the prince at her side, she always found that like he stood up for her and like would not let her shy away. Like she would walk next to him very proudly and earn her keep of all those titles and stuff. And so that was the story of how Shyvana came to be, and unfortunately the downfall of her mother Eva. There were some other instances that she was a part of. As we know that she went back with J4, who was her lover later. They joined what's called the Demacian Elite Guard, which was Demacia's like highest honor of being a guard around the castle. To which they made a separate, not lower ranking militia, but like separate unit that was called Dragon Guard, to which Shyvana was leader of.
Mm-hmm.
And um it was basically a specific guard under the Demacia Elite Guard that went around and protected the people from dragons. I didn't know of any specific other dragons other than Eva, unfortunately. I couldn't find any. But it said that naturally occurring, like, elemental dragons would wreak havoc on the land here and there, so they would just send Shyvana's group, the Dragon Guard, out to go protect the people. So that's what she got to do, which was really cool because sometimes not only did they have to unfortunately slay the dragons, but, like, she would win them over to their side. And,
Mm-hmm.
like,
Oh,
not that they would use their like abilities and stuff, but at least they would have a peace and be like, okay, you're chill, we're chill. How about you just go do your own thing, don't hurt the people? And they'd be like, yeah, okay, that's fine.
Right.
Yeah, like a diplomacy kind of thing. She also had a group called the Mage Seekers come after her. So after Jarvan the Third's, aka J4's dad's death, and all the mages were kind of like a big no. J4 implemented like a bunch of different laws to crack down on the mages, where like if they saw them doing magic past a couple hours, or like a certain spell or something was done but it was like an illegal spell, they would get in trouble. So unfortunately, Shyvana for some reason was imprisoned by these mage seekers because she was a magic user. um it wasn't stated that J4 had a big hand in this, unfortunately, um because obviously he made the laws, so like indirectly he would have like gotten her in trouble.
Right.
But basically in this time, Viego got involved and
Oh.
possessed Shyvana, which is where ruined
Yeah.
Shyvana the skin line comes from. And she terrorized the Demacian army, and it was because he gave an illusion in her mind that made it seem like all of Demacia was like after her. So like not only did she have the trauma of like the mage seekers imprisoning her for a couple years, but Viego coming in and like spinning those memories really messed her up, and so she shapeshifted and destroyed like a decent amount of Demacia, unfortunately, before anything was ever happened.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really bad. Um and as we know, the Sentinels of Light is an organization with like Lucian and like Vayne in them. So Vayne has the ultimate beef with Shyvana.
Mm-hmm.
She just thinks she's a monster and like hates her guts. horrible. And so when Viego possessed her, she was like, yes, we get to kill her. This is crazy. That's awesome. But Lucian and Senna were like, dude, no, we're here to save the people. Like, Shyvana's our friend. We've worked with her, all that stuff. And just as Vayne was about to kill Shyvana, Senna stepped in and was like, no, like, we can save her. It's just the illusion of Viego twisting her mind that like messed her up, and I can still feel her true self in there. So Senna did like this little magic witchy woo and like freed her mind, and that was like the first time that Senna realized that she was able to like free the mind of like Viego's ruined people, I guess you could say. And so after he was defeated, she was able to like free all the others under his control. So that was really cool. I actually didn't know Shyvana was the first one. I thought it would be like a different group, or
Yeah.
that Senna would be like under his control already at that point. But she was one of the first, and she was saved. And unfortunately, ever since like after that big fight with Eva and like getting all those titles and stuff, it all went downhill for Shyvana. Like, she kept getting in trouble or finding herself in trouble, but she's still alive and no one successfully killed her, so thank God. But it was just a little bit of a bumpy ride after she lost her mom. So yeah, that's all I've got for Miss
Wow.
Shyvana.
That's crazy. The only thing that I knew about her was that she was loyal to J4, but I didn't realize it went that deep. Like the dragon guard and everything.
Yeah, I actually didn't even know like J4 was her lover.
Yeah, I the only thing that I knew about Shyvana, besides the fact that she's Dragon Lady, was that she was loyal to J4, and it was because when we were doing our like regional stuff, and I looked at Demacia, I remember that being part of their history. That was it. That's crazy.
Well,
though.
you're welcome. There you
Yeah,
go.
thanks. I really
Thank
like
you.
Shyvana. I think she's really cool. I just hate when she goes AP.
Yeah,
It hurts my soul.
she really hurts.
Yeah.
But another thing that I found out recently, I forget who told me. I think it was our friend Bobby, but we were playing with him and he said that Senna actually got a buff recently where you can build her AP and she scales off of it.
Oh.
So I really want to try her. Like, I might actually play League after this podcast. My bad, I'm an addict, but
Bro,
I will.
Want to play League after this?
Of course.
Decompress in League.
Decompress in League, hot.
Decompress on League.
Amazing. Not toxic at all. Totally hot.
Right there.
Oh, well, thank you so much for taking us through that. I'm glad to know more about her because she was one of. There's like maybe 7 or 8 champs that I know very little about, and she is one of them. And then Choccy has another one, which is Nico. Like, I don't know anything about these people.
Mine is Elise. Out of our 3 that we're covering,
Oh, really?
I know the least about Elise.
Dude,
probably because she's a spider.
Her story is fucking nuts.
Ooh.
Yeah, Choccy, did you want to go next, or you want me to go? I don't mind either way.
I don't mind either way. Like, I don't mind.
You want to flip a coin? Let's flip a coin right now.
Let's flip a coin.
All right, you want heads or tails?
I'll go heads.
Okay, heads or tails? It's tails. I'm going first. Okay.
Yay, Veda.
Okay.
Yeah, Choccy won.
We both won. There's actually literally no loser in these podcasts because it's so exciting to both listen and talk.
True.
Okay, cool. So Elise. So Elise was actually like not always super scary spider lady. She was just a super dommy mommy from Noxus at one point. Like, she was like she was born of Noxian nobility to the house Kithera, right? And she grew up like a gorgeous girl. Very early on, she was like stunning people with her beauty. And so because of that, she kind of used it to her advantage from very early on. Like, she learned how to master like the manipulation with her beauty to like lure people in and basically bend them to her will, right? I know, right? And
she got that dummy mommy.
Throughout her life, she was basically like she was wearing the pants because of how well she manipulated people. And so when she was eventually married off for what was essentially like a business marriage, right? She was married to a man named Bertolt Zavan.
What a
Which
name.
I know,
Oh.
yeah. And he was a powerful Noxian house leader, but she completely dominated him. He would
Oh.
like next to her, and when it came to decision making, like the way that she carried herself versus the way that he looked like a complete wuss. So like everybody knew that she held the real power in the house. And he
Ooh.
hated that. Like
Oh.
like
Not
hated
cool.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he builds up this resentment towards her, right? And she's just like she's just like, you know, girl boss gatekeep gaslight, you know, boss ass bitch over here
Mm-hmm.
doing her own thing. And this motherfucker says, well, I don't really like that you're more powerful than me, so I gotta do something about this. So he fucking poisons her.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, he slips her some poison, and then he's like, well, now that you're poisoned, you're weak, and I want you to leave. I want my power back. And she's like on the ground, like weeping, and she's like, I've been such a terrible wife. I'm so sorry. You're in charge and you're the man, and how dare I? And then when he like hesitates for a moment, she takes a knife and just plunges it straight through his heart.
Got his ass.
Yeah. She
Wait,
said
that's such a power move.
She said, boom, got him. But she just played the part of like a remorseful wife, and then the second that he let his guard down, she literally stabs him in the heart. So Bertolt Zavan was no more. Elise was a widow, technically, which I think is funny because it's kind of like cheeky that she's a black widow. But so yeah, she kills him. And then do you guys know what the Black Rose is?
No.
No.
Okay, so I wrote down the history of the Black Rose just in case, because I didn't know what it was either. So the Black Rose is a secret society. It's what's referred to as a secretive cabal, right? And it's led by Noxian aristocracy. Is that how you say that word? Aristocracy?
I would say probably
I know
aristocracy.
I can
You
say
said
aristocrat, right? But then
yeah.
when I try to say it like I think it's
I think it's
aristocracy when it's written like
I'm
this.
pretty
Yeah, I
sure.
hate that word, dude. You know what? That's my cap word.
That's
Because-
my cap word.
Because like, how dare you change it from like aristocrat to aristocracy? That just is so stupid. Anyways,
I got beef.
Yeah, me too. I got new beef now. So basically it's led by aristocrats from Noxus, right? And their huge rule is trust no one, even each other. So they all wear masks and they go by like essentially nicknames, right? And basically like the Black Rose has theoretically predated Noxus. And they've always hid in the shadows and basically used their abilities to mold and guide the throne and whoever sits upon it for the entirety of Noxus's history. Which is wild. Like they're literally guiding the throne, like telling them what to do without the throne realizing, from the shadows, from even before Noxus was like an empire. So there's really not much information on them, but here's what we do know. They are led by a matron called the Pale Woman. I'm going to reveal who all these people are at the end. And I feel like you guys are going to be like, "Oh shit." So they're led by a matron, and she's called the Pale Woman or the Pale Sorceress. She aided in like barbarian tribes way back in the day when they were fighting against the Iron Revenant, which I think we all know who that is. But the Black Rose essentially, once Noxus became like a full-on civilization, they had like basically branches that were hidden within the Immortal Bastion, that were hidden on the outskirts of Noxus, you know, within the doors of the capital, and like all of these from like they're everywhere, and nobody quite knows who anybody is, or like how it works, you know? Like they all play a part, but the only person who really knows what's going on is the matron. So basically the way that it started was so Mordekaiser's Dark Reign, right? We remember this from when we went over Noxus's history? Okay.
Yeah.
So during his Dark Reign, there was a bloodthirsty fiend who was essentially like going all throughout Valorant, just like demanding for worship and blood, and essentially like the pale sorceress, or the pale woman, what we're gonna call her, the pale woman, because I don't want to keep repeating both of them. She approached a barbarian god with an offer. So the two of them had dinner, and essentially like they joined forces, and this barbarian ended up being that bloodthirsty fiend, and they essentially like established the Black Rose. So this was them like coming up with the idea of, well, we'll just use our abilities, because both of us have these abilities, to manipulate everyone we can, and we'll lead the nation the way that we want, but we'll make them think it's their idea. So they essentially over the years kind of started to bring people in who had something to offer. And the pale woman was like still in Noxus when Elise had killed the man that she was married off to. So she extended an offer to Elise and was like, why don't you come join the Black Rose? You're gonna be outcasted because you just killed your husband. So instead of being exiled, being murdered, being tried, you know, any of these things, why don't you join us in the shadows, do something to prove yourself, and you can just seek solace with us. And Elise was like, yeah, absolutely. I just got done sitting in bed for 3 weeks because I was poisoned to death by the man that I killed, who is also my husband. So I would love to get out of here. And from there, the pale woman basically was like, here's what I want you to do. We are seeking artifacts, like ancient artifacts that hold some sort of magic in them. I want you to go retrieve one for me. This is how you're going to prove yourself. What you're retrieving is the skull of an ancient warlord whose name is San Uzal. He was rumored to have lost his life and have his remains scattered in the Shadow Isles. So I would like you to go retrieve that skull from the Shadow Isles. Elise is like, yeah, I mean, fuck it, I might as well. So she decides to go. Now, for those of you who don't know, when we talked about Noxus, we talked a lot about Mordekaiser's reign because he's always there. And how at some point he actually was brought back using magic from the Shadow Isles. So San Uzal is in fact Mordekaiser. So what Elise was sent after was Mord's skull. And she goes to a very like desperate, like debt-ridden captain with like a very small loyal crew, and she's like, I am not going to get anybody better and you need money, so come to the Shadow Isles with me, which is like a crazy thing to do. Like going to the Shadow Isles is basically a suicide mission. And so they agreed, and they sailed off to the city of Helia, which is like a super cursed city because it's right in the middle of the Black Mist. And it's said to hold like a whole bunch of like magic artifacts, but the thing is that nobody survives to know if that's even true. So this is just blind faith that things are actually there. And she's just sailing straight to it. When they reach the beach, essentially the first thing that happens is when they step off onto the shores, they are immediately attacked and tormented by these terrifying wraiths as they walk across the sand.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it just starts off absolutely painful and terrifying. But then something strange happens. A long forgotten, terrifying creature starts to make its way across the mist in the background. And Elise notices this, and she kind of knows what it is, but, you know, it's one of those, like, you only ever hear stories. You never think this thing is real, right?
Mm-hmm.
What she's hearing the sounds scattering across the sand of is the spider god Vilma. Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard that name since freaking what's that map called? The 3v3
Twisted Tree
Tree Line.
Yeah, Twisted Tree Line. Which
the
is
OGs would know.
this story is where Twisted Tree Line comes from.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so Vilma is essentially the spider god, and Vilma kind of like lingers in the shadows, which is exactly why the Shadow Isles is such a good place for him to, I guess, like just like exist and wait for prey. And so while the mist itself is a dangerous entity, everything that lives within the mist is basically there to clean up the mist's mess. Like, if you make it through the black mist and the wraiths and all of like Viego's torture, you know, then you have to deal with everything else is there, including Vilma. So Elise is walking around. She's looking for this lost vault. She can't find it anywhere, and all of a sudden she feels the fangs of Vilma go straight into her shoulder.
Oh my god.
And the next thing that happened, and I have this quoted because just the way that it reads is terrifying. It says, she fell howling and convulsing as the venom wrought terrible changes upon her body. Her spine rippled with an undulant motion, and anarachnoid legs pushed out from her flesh. So she just had basically her spine went all wavy, and then she grew legs.
Yeah, but was Vilma's poison ever meant to actually kill her, or was it to literally transform her?
Yeah, it was to transform her. So, when she finished her transformation, she essentially like turned around, and her, you know, new god was standing before her. So they kind of like shared an unspoken moment of understanding, and then she just crawled back to the beach completely untroubled. Like nothing bothered her. Like the Shadow Isles, all of the terrible stuff there, nothing bothered her. She had become one of the entities of the Shadow Isles. So she coexisted with every other terrible thing there, while still remaining like completely present in who she was, her memories, like everything. So it only changed her body, not her like mental or anything. Yeah. So was
she able to like leave the Shadow Isles?
So she gets on her ship and sails out, and basically when she arrives back in Noxus, the Pale Woman comes to meet her, and she's like, what happened to you? So even though she didn't have Mordekaiser's skull, the Pale Woman was like, okay, well, you are exactly what we need, because you can go through the Shadow Isles without being touched. So they strike a deal. The Pale Woman says, we will send sacrifices to Vilma to keep your power going, and in exchange you're going to bring us back any artifacts you can find on the Black Isle, or on the Shadow Isles in the Black Mist. So Elise takes this deal, and she essentially like returns to the land of the Black Mist with like people that she lures in with her beauty and sacrifices them to Vilemall to keep her power strong. And then while she's there, she wanders around the Black Mist and all of the isles within it to find these artifacts to bring back for the Black Rose.
To be honest, though, that whole issue sounds like a win.
I mean,
Like, I don't think Elise lost.
no, she didn't. She absolutely won. And she,
Right?
like, she to this day just gets to essentially, like, stay young, stay beautiful, have mage powers, and she doesn't give a shit about killing these people, so it's not like she's, like, sitting with a heavy conscience, you know?
Yeah, she's just killing boys.
Yeah, I'm not killing people, I'm killing boys.
Yeah, that sounds like a complete win.
Yeah.
I won't lie.
So a couple of reveals here. The barbarian fiend is Vladimir, and the pale woman is LeBlanc.
See, I couldn't put LeBlanc together. I couldn't. I figured out Vlad really easy. I was like, dude, come on.
Yeah, literally.
But the pale woman, I was like, there's a lot of pale characters here. Who could this be?
Yeah. So,
that makes sense.
yeah.
Oh my god, wait, she has a black rose fucking skin.
So the withered
Oh
rose,
my God, I'm
the
slow.
withered rose skins, those are your Black Rose people. There's like a list of people who are involved. So Briar was created by the Black Rose to be a weapon. Darius has dealing with its members in the past. Ezreal was noticed by Black Rose members when he was in Noxus. Echo fought members of the Black Rose. Katarina is the sister of Cassiopeia, who's in the Black Rose. Mordekaiser was betrayed by LeBlanc, who leads the Black Rose. Pike murdered the crew from a ship that the Black Rose was sending out. Riven's blade was enchanted by LeBlanc. I think Rel was experimented on by the Black Rose and like essentially escaped them, but her mom is a member of the Black Rose.
Damn, poor
Scion
Rel.
was resurrected by the Black Rose.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, why not have a beefcake?
Yeah, Swain then obtained Scion from the Black Rose. LeBlanc also manipulated Swain from very young so that when he eventually got into power in Noxus, she was essentially pulling the strings. Samira's handler is part of the Black Rose. Vhagar was inside Mordekaiser's inner circle, which was the craziest one on this list. And then Renekton and Xerath, I believe that should be it, right? Yeah. Renekton and Xerath were both accidentally freed by Cassiopeia, so they are still roaming due to a fuck up on the Black Rose's part.
Damn.
Yeah. So all of those people are somewhat involved. Vladimir's obviously a very, like, so Vlad, LeBlanc, Cass, and Elise are the 4 champions that are full-blown members of the Black Rose.
Interesting. I didn't actually know like the Black Rose like 100% was like a organization. I like knew of all the like the skin lines that would tie together, but it never occurred to me just how many members were a part of that.
Oh
That's
my god.
crazy.
And there's so much lore there. Like as I was going through it, I was like, I can't do all of this, but like we need to have a topic where we talk about like either political parties, like noble houses, or secret societies or something like that, like a theme of kind of talking about those, because I would love to go through the complete lore of the Black Rose. It's like there's so much.
But
That'd
be really sick.
And then the last thing that I have is I have Elise's like abilities.
Okay.
So let me pull that up. So Elise in League is one of those champions that I feel like like almost all of the shape-shifting champions are like this, but her ult is just her transforming, and then her other 3 abilities are different based off of which form she's in. So I'm gonna go a little weird here because I'm just gonna explain her passive and then her ult and then go through her abilities. But her passive is called Spider Queen, and in her human form, when her abilities hit an enemy, she gains a spiderling. When she's in her spider form, her attacks deal magic damage and they restore health to her. Her ult turns her into a spider. She loses her attack range with this, but in exchange, she gets movement speed. Her abilities do different things, and she gets a spider, like a spiderling swarm that automatically attacks enemies. So her Q is called Neurotoxin, or if you are in spider form, it is called Venomous Bite. In human form, Neurotoxin deals damage based upon how high the target's health is. In spider form, Venomous Bite lunges at an enemy and deals damage based on how low their health is.
Interesting. I actually have no idea how Elise works. This is
I
helpful.
really want to play her now. So her W is Volatile Spiderling if you are human. If you are spider, it is Skittering Frenzy. In human form, Volatile Spiderling releases a venom-gorged spiderling that explodes when it's near a target. In spider form, Skittering Frenzy, Elise and her spiderlings all gain attack speed. And then her E is called Cocoon or Repel, depending on which form you're in. In human form, Cocoon stuns the first enemy unit hit and reveals them if they are not stealthed. In spider form, Elise and her spiderlings ascend into the air using Repel and then descend upon an enemy target. After descending on an enemy target, Elise's bonus damage and healing from the Spider Queen is increased. But yeah, that's all I got. She doesn't have any super interesting voice lines. The only one that I found kind of cool is I know that Cho'Gath has this line because I play Cho'Gath, but I did not know that she also shares this line with him. They both say, "Ah, the tangled webs we weave," which is a reference to something I know, but I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah, I have no idea either.
But it's the only time I've ever heard of 2 champions having the same exact voice line.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. But that's it. That's all I got for Elise. She is literally just it's like one part I'm in a secret society, one part I'm Spider-Man lol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. I like her a lot more now. That was a really good story.
I know,
like that
it's
one.
so cool.
I like it.
I was like, damn, you kind of like seem boring in League, and now but your story is like hella underrated.
Yeah.
And I want more now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, that leaves us with one more. So Choccy, you want to just take it away?
Hi. I am covering Nico today. I don't know if you guys remember last month, but I accidentally didn't pick a Vestaya on Vestaya month, but I
I
picked
do
somebody
remember
who was
that.
kind of looked like a Vestaya, but wasn't actually a Vestaya. So
Oh,
this
so you're
month I'm
doubling up.
covering a shapeshifter Vestaya. Okay, like I gotta cover both bases now.
You said not only am I making up for last time, but I'm also following the prompt this time.
Exactly. So Nico was born on a remote and largely unknown island far to the east, where the last members of the ancient Vestayan tribe, called the Ovicat, Oovi cat. So I'm gonna go with Ovicat or Uvicat, maybe.
Ain't none of us able
Do
to
you rem-
speak today.
Nah, Eva was my biggest downfall. So good luck.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Uvi cat. And they remained isolated from the rest of the world, so kind of the last kind of ancient Visayan tribe.
Mhm.
The Uvi cat were peaceful beings whose our harmonious society blended seamlessly with the spirit realm, and Nika was one of the younglings of this tribe. She developed a fondness for games, hiding trinkets and thoughts to see if others could find them. And her inquisitive nature was charming and her innocence beamed. But that innocence vanished rapidly when her village fell into chaos.
Oh.
Isn't it how it goes every single time?
Yeah,
It's like,
dude,
oh yeah, they're so cool.
I hate when I have like an empire and everything I've ever wanted and it descends into chaos. What a typical problem.
Yeah,
What a typical
damn.
girl problem. Sheesh.
It's a typical league problem. So I was like, oh,
Yeah, for
this
real.
is how
It
they
is.
are. They're
It's
so
very much.
happy.
It's very much like a trope that's used in a lot of these.
Right? It's like, and then one day,
And then one day
um,
everything went wrong.
I couldn't really figure out what happened, but like everything was on fire. Um, and the elders like made a self-sacrifice, and they were like, they had like quick thinking, and they like wanted Nico out of there. So she escaped the death of her homeland. And she took flight in the form of a bird, and she fled the smoldering destruction, hearing the screams of her people fading into the ethereal gulf between realms. So she kind of just like dipped, and everybody like was burning. But you know what? Yeah. I mean, ideally they're a Visayan tribe, so they could all maybe shapeshift, or I guess to be a Visayan you don't always shapeshift. Never mind. I'm trolling. But days later, desperate and exhausted, Nico plummeted into the sea. She clung to driftwood, floating with the currents, until an odd silhouette came into view, and she could hear voices carrying over the waves. So swam towards the strange structure. With the last of her strength, she crept aboard what turned out to be a okay, I'm also gonna butcher this. A mercantile vessel?
Mercantile.
Like I believe like mercenaries, no?
No, mercantile, like a merchant.
Mercantile
Oh,
merchants.
but it doesn't
Hmm.
have like a H though.
Yeah, that's because the English is fucking stupid, Chalky.
We
What
went
the
over that with fiduciary,
f-
bro.
what? What?
Can't do this.
Okay, sorry, a merchant vessel
Why
then.
is it
Okay.
aristocrat and then aristocracy?
Dude, we have beef all over this freaking episode
English is
today.
a
Oh my
stupid
god.
language. Continue.
Um, yes, so this mercantile vessel was destined for Harlport. Nico rested where she could, calling out into the spirit realm for her lost tribe, and she felt only scattered, or she felt like only scattered and sad echoes in response, and the images of dead trees, because just everything went up into flames. When Nico emerged from the ship into the city, it was a strange and unfamiliar new world. All of her senses tingled, and this was the place of countless stories and experiences, and it entranced her completely. She was like, "I am so excited to explore the human world, like this big like city, you know?" Like she was just absolutely enthralled by it. But before she could get very far, she was spotted by a Vestayan sailor named Crete. Nico could not understand any of his words, but he demanded to know which tribe she belonged to. Nico mimicked his facial expressions to make peaceful intentions understood, but Crete did not see it this way at all. So he was kind of like, what are you doing here? And Nico just like, put like a little that same kind of attitude-esque face on because she didn't really understand what he was saying. And then she had to like flee because his thoughts got really dark. And she would like alter her shape into many times till she could escape.
Wow.
Um, she ran away, and she was surrounded by lush tropical greenery behind the hill Harl Port, and she grappled with her recent experiences. She couldn't really understand why someone would rely solely on words as their singular form of communication. She suck solace. Oh my god,
Dude, it's
seeking
fine.
solace.
It's not an English day. It's fine.
Honestly, it's not an English thing. Seeking solace, she turned into the shape, or she took on the shape of the sleek jungle cats she encountered among the trees and tried to run with them until unexpectedly the leader transformed into a beautiful, strong, dark haired woman. And after a tense standoff, she introduced herself as Nidalee and reluctantly accepted Nico into the group. So, she kind of was hesitant to entrust the truths of the Uvi cat to others, but she felt a deep kinship with Nidalee because she suspected that this bestial huntress may share some of the forgotten connection with the Vestayan race. So she was like,
Oh.
I can kind of tell you might be a little bit Vestayan. So
Oh.
let's
She said
yeah.
you kind of got that cat in you, bro. And so I kind of trust you.
I can sense that cat in you. So, yeah, and their friendship blossomed. And for many months, they roamed the wilds together. Just a big old pack of cats, you know?
Dude, that's so are they in love?
Hidden lore, maybe?
Hidden lore? They're in love? Just two cats?
creating creating our own lore. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Just two. Wait, so Nico, what is Nico like modeled after?
Chameleon.
Chameleon. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's like the colorful chameleon or whatever. Like, 'cause she's like yeah, modeled after chameleon, but she's also part human. Yeah, she's Vestayan chameleon, I
Right.
guess.
Cool.
So after kind of, she had her little frolicking throughout the forest with beautiful Nidalee, she kind of had this calling towards the towns and the cities. She's like, ah, they're so interesting. I just want to go back.
Mm-hmm.
And her ancestors came into her dreams and showed her like the dead trees over and over again. So she was just kind of haunted by her ancestors, and the trees needed to bloom again. Like she was missing color in her life. And she asked her friend to join her on this new journey, but Nidalee could not be persuaded. She was like, you know what? I like it in the jungle. So Nico set out alone. Her old life among the Uvi cat may be lost forever, but Nico envisions a life of like a magical future and a larger tribe of like-hearted Vestayans, Yordles, humans, or whatever other creatures may share in her dream. As far as she is concerned, everyone has the potential to find a place in her new tribe, and she has pledged to seek these souls out, befriend them, and defend their spirit with her life. So that's kind of her main goal, is she's just seeking kind of a new tribe because her old tribe was, you know,
You're right.
event
You're
happened.
right.
Yeah. And mine's kind of short and sweet. I only have like one voice line, which I thought was kind of cool, where it was like, "Wow, powerful, like a jungle cat in Italy. Ah, I miss her." And like,
Oh.
maybe I don't know. I think that they're just kind of cute together. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
like,
they must be it must be like a kind of like chosen sister bond kind of relationship.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, the way that they describe her though as like a beautiful, strong, dark-haired woman, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah,
like
that's what I'm saying. Like, is there secret
maybe,
lore? Is it like,
maybe
well,
hidden lore.
doesn't Nico has a thing for someone though, right? I thought maybe is it
Uh-huh.
Lilia? I don't know who it is. Hold on. Let me fact check myself real quick.
No, Nico is in love with Nidalee, confirmed.
Oh, is it? Is she?
Yeah,
Oh my
while the
god.
romantic feelings were unreturned, her interpersonal relationship is beginning to blossom. So like she like she low key like it's actually
Oh my
confirmed like
god.
low key
Wait,
lore.
Regine,
Yeah.
we literally hire us. We
Wait,
can
hire
write
us.
stuff. Hire
us,
us.
bro.
Me and Chalky have this really long ongoing joke that Korea should hire us to write K-dramas because we were like every time we watch one, we come up with a better plot.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
like
man.
this should have happened instead and this would have been so
Yeah.
fire.
And
Korea,
literally
hire
hire us. Literally hire us.
I like our
Anyways.
joke that whenever we finish like a line in a movie,
Yeah,
we
we're
predict
like, oh,
what's
I
gonna
wrote
happen.
it.
That's like, damn, I wrote
I
it.
wrote it.
Yeah,
Or
you
like,
should thank
well,
me. I
like,
wrote that shit.
dude, it's one of my favorite. So I started saying that like years ago, and I think it's so funny because like I wanted people to pick it up because I just think it's like a very funny way of saying like this shit's predictable. So
Yeah.
whenever something happens, we always say like either we'll say like, yeah, I wrote it, or like somebody else will go, damn, you wrote this movie, or like
Yeah. If you don't say, someone else is going, damn, he wrote
yeah,
it. That's crazy. He wrote it, bro.
It's like one of our bits. And it's so funny when we're in a theater too, because it's like everything will be like super intense, and like a good example would be like when we were at Saw. I think it was
Mhm.
like I can't remember what part it was, but I was like, oh dude, this is gonna happen. And then it happened like 3 seconds later, and I looked over and everything went silent because it was like an intense part of the movie. I was like, yeah, I wrote it.
Yeah, you're like, dude, that door's gonna shut. And then
Yeah.
it did, and then the lights all went off, and then
I
he
say,
started doing like his
his
like
monologue.
aside, his monologue. And then we all looked at you and you're like, dude, I wrote it.
Wait, guys, I've just confirmed something.
Yeah.
Nico is a gender fluid lesbian. So
Dude.
it's like LGBT confirmed, slay,
Hell
Yes. Bro,
pussy queen boss bird.
I love how much League lore is here for the she's, the theys,
For the
and the
gays.
gays. It
Right?
is so amazing.
League lore, it covers everything.
Literally, like, you've got, you know, a man who can't choose between his pirate love and a succubus demon. You have, like, you know,
What's Nami in the
Nami
three
and the
polyamorous.
polyamorous relationship. Yeah. You have a dragon in love with a man. You have, you know,
True.
like, all of this crazy
Yeah.
stuff. You have like a full-blown assassin in love with like a super righteous guard of the crown. Like, you have a literally like an heiress and a huge noble figure in love with the stinky prisoner chained up in the prison. I mean, it's crazy.
And you
There's
have people
so
coming after
every
that spider
trope.
booty. So.
yeah, literally.
I don't know,
Every
man.
Spidussy.
feral animal
Spy
trope.
Dussy, bro.
Spidussy. Oh my god, the Ari's I don't know.
Her nine-tail fox pussy.
Yeah, her fox
Nine-tail fox pussy.
Yeah. Her nine-tail-assy. Let's go. But yeah. Oh, that's
crazy.
another one. Ari and Yasuo. Dude, we gotta like make a map of all of the couples that are actually.
my
We
God.
need to do a spider web for
Oh
it.
my god.
Should we do like a visual, like a
Connection.
web of all the connections and stuff? Like go through it
Yeah.
all.
Oh
Like,
my, do
Yeah.
you
one
know
day.
how much time that would
Dude,
probably
this would be
take?
a fucking rabbit
You know how
hole.
difficult it would be to put Rise on that map?
Dude,
6
he'd be in
hour
the corner.
stream.
Yeah, literally with lines everywhere. Rise
Wait,
is just
is
a piece.
Rise like
Rise
for
is
the
like
people?
Rise is connected to like everybody through the runes. So I mean,
Wait,
like, because the
but
runes
like as lovers though.
Oh no! If we're doing a
Oh,
web of
no.
just lovers, it's easy. But if we were doing like connections between all the champions,
Oh yeah, put them
good
in the
fucking
middle
luck.
and just like
Let
color everything
yeah,
blue and then go from there.
The paper itself
Wait.
is Rise. Anything on the paper is connected to Rise.
Yeah.
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 Wait, look how cute this is. Wait, I'm putting this on topic.
On topic.
Look, wait, look
Okay.
how cute that is.
Oh.
Like I literally.
Okay,
hard-
but I can also see Veda's standpoint of like Nico being for Lilia, because wouldn't it be so cute if Nico gave Lilia her flower?
Oh my God!
That
Stop.
would be really, or
I
like, or their
ship
flowers
'em.
bloomed and then they're like pollen, like
Kill me! I love
like-
it.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Damn.
Oh my
Wait,
God.
Wattpad moment? Wait,
Wait, huh?
wait, should Wattpad hire?
Wait, hold on. Okay, listen, Korea's not jumping on it. Wattpad, get on it. Hire us. Well, I think. Wait, so was that all that you had for Nico then?
That's everything that I had. I mean, honestly, like there's probably some more out there, but that like covers kind of her
That's like the
base
gist
lore
of it.
like
Gotcha.
yeah, that's kind of her
Yeah.
mission statement. You know, she just
Her
wants to make a
mission
new tribe.
statement.
She fell in love with Nidalee a little bit. She had some feral times in the jungle, and then yeah, no, she's just chilling.
Honestly, I can't stand Nico. I hate her with a dying passion in the game itself, but like lore wise,
I hate
that's
a
really
good
cute.
Nico.
Me too. I guess
Mhm.
that's what I
That's
should
my
say. A
only
bad
beef.
Nico is like totally fine. You can stay.
Oh yeah.
But like
Yeah.
if you know life Nico, you make me want to shoot myself IRL with a gun.
In game.
In game.
Yeah.
IRL in game, yeah.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I'm just gonna clear my wave, and then it's like, oh, Nico's in your face.
Yeah, it's like, oh,
yeah,
I'm
my
gonna...
bad. I miscounted the casters.
That's
on
crazy.
me.
Oh, that's crazy. You waited for one to die before taking its place so that I wouldn't notice. Fuck yourself. You're too good at the game.
Oh, you mean Scuttles coming out of the literal river?
know,
what do you want me to do about that?
You want to hear my worst facing a Nico story?
What? Do tell.
Yeah.
I was jungling against a Nico jungle. This was back when Nico jungle was like viable.
She took the blue instead as a blue.
Yeah.
No.
She took
That
her
would
buff.
make me so mad.
She took her buff, sent a copy mid lane. So I said, okay, cool. She's not in her jungle. I went to invade, went straight for the buff. I'm hitting it. I'm like, damn, this thing is dying fast. It registers in my brain. I turn to go away. She snags me. It was like, dude, 2 hits in, I was like, oh, this is way too fast. And so I knew what it was. So I was going to try to get distance and kite. Cause I think I was playing Kindred. So I was trying to get distance to kite her, and it was just too late. She rooted me, she threw her Q on me, and then she ulted me. I was dead. In seconds.
At least you didn't smite
rough.
it.
Oh, that would have been awful. Had I done like the smite intro, that would have been actually awful.
Like to start the buff.
Yeah.
No. I would have been pissed. That also would piss me off though. Like I've never went against the Nico jungle, but I could literally see a troll doing that.
Yeah. And it was like I mean, like, I definitely did not get tricked by that again because I just stayed in my lane. I just stayed in my jungle.
Yeah.
But there was a point where she was pretending to be Scuttle, and you could tell because I think Scuttle might be the hardest thing to imitate.
Especially the pathing,
Yeah, because Scuttle, like, when it was killed, I was coming down or coming up maybe into Bot River to get Scuttle for drag. And I saw the Scuttle moving, and it just moved a little weird. I said, nah, that's Nico. And so I threw like a ward down, and the ward showed that Scuttle had already gotten got. And I was like, everybody run, it's Nico. Get out.
Mr. President!
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That shit was annoying.
I bet.
Also, it is funny though, whenever you see like Nico as a ward just running across the map. That is kind of funny.
That is insane.
Yeah. You ever seen a ward in the middle of the lane just chilling? It's
like
funny.
Not your team's ward. Like...
Yeah, it's not. It's their ward, and somehow it's fully visible in the middle of the minions, and I'm like,
could be her. Could be her.
Nico, yeah.
I don't know, like a 30% chance. So
Yeah.
you can't be too positive.
It's a maybe at this point.
It could be. I mean, who knows? Maybe the game's glitching. I should probably just walk up to the ward to kill it.
Yeah, you know what? That's on me.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh my god. Well, Cap, do you have a little bit of insight for next week?
I do. So, as you know, me and Veda for 9 months, the better of 9 months, have not named the crime junkie sections of Curiosity Cove. Well, so we have. I'm not telling you what it is. You have to wait till next time. But we finally came up with one, and honestly, it took less than 5 minutes, and I'm kind of pissed because it's a good one.
Literally,
it's a good one.
Literally, Cap messaged me and said, "God, we still have to name that portion." And then she was like, "I was thinking XYZ," and then I was like, "Wait," and I said,
"What about?"
And I said something, and we'll tell you what that was next week.
Yeah, and it was just. I was just like, dude, where was this when we did all this?
Yeah,
but anyways, besides the point. So what we're gonna be doing next week, as a little teaser, is obviously I just gave you the hint of it being crime related. Yeah, good luck. All right, we'll see you next week. And remember, Cubbies, keep it real,
but keep it curious. Goodbye.
Bye.